Hello and welcome to the RDA. Erik Ten Hag demands an early preseason is the story all over the internet right now, and it is our headline. And you know what? At this moment in time, Manchester United, not many stories bring a smile to my face. But this is definitely one of them. Erik Ten Hag demands an early preseason, and the thought of Harry Maguire having to come back early just makes me happy. Yes, ideally would want him out of the club, but we know that's not going to happen. This Manchester United, they're not going to sign Maguire. So, at least him coming early, and running. He must run, at least we'll take that, And I feel like during this preseason, there should be a rule. Every time Ten Hag glances at him, and, he looks fridge-like, it should be 2 laps. Whenever it looks fridge-like, it should be 2 laps. That should be the rule. But yeah, Erik Ten Hag wants the team to come in 2 weeks early, about 2 weeks early for preseason. And it makes sense. So I am reading this from the Mirror, and they're reporting that we were expected to start preseason around the 4th of July, but now we're expected to go in around the 20th of June, which is probably going to be much earlier than any other of the other clubs in the Premier League, which makes sense. It makes sense because we need it. We're clearly not at the standard we should be. We're at the standard of Manchester United, so sacrifices should be made. And I'm hoping these players, even though their character has been in question lately, I'm hoping these players can understand that, and they can be the professionals they should be if they want to play for Manchester United. But yeah, they want to come 2 weeks early. Ten Hag wants them to come 2 weeks early. And I think this makes sense that it's coming after the Brighton game. I can imagine he's been watching pretty much all the games, probably for the last few months. But I think it makes sense coming after the Brighton game, because in the Brighton game, our fitness was in the bin. It was in the bin. And we need some surgery, in this club. And I think a big problem against Brighton was, the failure to close down. Defensively, the failure to close as a team, actually, because you need to do it as a team. As a team, the failure to close down the other team, to make the pitch small. We need to make the pitch small. That was our biggest problem. That's why we got cut open by Brighton. No disrespect to Brighton, but they shouldn't be cutting open Manchester United. And yeah, we definitely need this early preseason to up our fitness. It's a fitness thing. That's what the Mirror is reporting. It's a fitness thing. Erik Ten Hag feels like our fitness, it's just not at the level it needs to be to start the season. And on top of that, I'll take it a step further and say not just fitness, but them being able to comprehend what they've been told. Them being able to comprehend the style of play, the tactics, because fitness is one thing, but we've seen with Leeds, running willy-nilly, it doesn't do it, because if you don't do it organized, if you're not organized in how you press, you still can get cut open, So I think just some time on the pitch without the pressure of games, some extra time on the pitch without the extra of games, just to work on the basics. The basics, as Fabian Delph, what's his name again? He's once said in that City documentary. It's about the basics, So yeah, just some time on the pitch just to work on those basics, and hopefully, start building an identity, start looking like an actual team. Because United sometimes you just don't know what's going on, And hopefully we would hope that Erik Ten Hag is a better man manager than Ralph. Because yes, Ralph talks for the tactics, but I think what's abundantly clear is that when it comes to his man management, he's probably not the best. I get this feeling that he might be a bit cold and that they're not really responding well to him. Or maybe he's not cold, but then these players are so frustrating that it forces him to kind of, be like that, which is a shame. But hopefully they can connect much better with Erik Ten Hag. Hopefully he's a much better man manager, and those who can't should just be shipped out. It's simple as that. And yeah, that's our headline. Our next story is about the reported revolution of Manchester United and how there's been another casualty in the numerous sackings, or people stepping down. I don't know what's going on. But yeah, the numerous sackings, Richard Arnold's revolution, it's been called, So there's been another casualty who goes by Herman Tiseo, Herman Tiseo, who was our chief strategy officer. He's been sacked or he stepped down. I'm not sure which one he really is. But he's no longer going to be at the club. And yeah, another casualty in the revolution, as they say. I mean, we've seen that Ed Woodward has stepped down. We've seen that Matt Judge has stepped down. We've seen that our chief scout, I'm forgetting his name, has stepped down. So yeah, numerous changes at Manchester United. But let's just talk about this TCO guy. Apparently, he seems to have been more involved in finance. He was a finance guy. Um, apparently he was involved in listing United on the New York Stock Exchange. Here's a positive. Apparently, he was one of the main catalysts in launching the women's team. So that's a positive. It's not all negatives. And are there really any negatives attached to this guy? Because this might be a layman's opinion, but from what I've seen in Manchester United, our finances have been pretty okay. They've been pretty good, actually. I don't know the ins and outs, but from my opinion, they've been pretty good. But at the same time, that's understandable. Because regardless, yes, maybe you can keep some gems here and there who come from the Woodward regime. But regardless of that, I feel like there needs to be a culture change in Manchester United. And, just revamping and kind of just sacking everyone, maybe it's not a bad idea. Let's sack them. Let's sack them. In fact, as I keep saying, we need to sack the guy who puts the combs down. We need to sack the guy who cuts the grass. Just a complete culture change at Manchester United is what's needed. A complete revolution, And let's hope it really is a revolution, and it's not just papering over the cracks. And how will it be papering over the cracks? If we fire these mans and we don't really replace them with the right people, if we just put more bankers, yes, you need bankers in certain divisions, of the company. We get that. But put people in the right positions who people have know-how in the right positions. We need people like Paul Mitchell, to come in and be technical director or whatnot. We need people who know about football to be in the football side. We need people who know about finances to be in the finance side. And we need the finance and the business side to not oppress the football side, because that's a problem. If we're going to run a successful football club, football has to always win to a certain degree. Maybe not by much. You're still running the business, still want to make money. We get that, but don't completely neglect the football side. And I think it's become very clear that our biggest problem is structurally, because we do spend money. But how we spend that money, the red tapes, in spending that money, who makes the decisions in spending that money. So, yeah, changes are good, but it's just the first step. The next step is appointing the right people. And if Richard Arnold does that, I'll jump on this bandwagon of revolution. And let's crack on, let's fix Manchester United. But for now, I am still cautious, because Manchester United will do that to us. But that is the that's the relevant stories right now. But before I sign off, I just want to talk about, the big signing that has recently come out. I think we all know where I'm going with this. Erling Haaland has joined not Manchester United. It was Man anyway. I'm really off today, aren't I? But Erling Haaland has joined Manchester City, and it sucks. It does suck, particularly because we probably should have signed this player a few years ago. And I was reading the Manchester Evening News, and they were saying that Manchester City signing Dortmund is just more pains, from the Woodward regime. And to a certain extent, they're right. To a certain extent, they tell the truth, because, Woodward really messed us up, and we probably should have signed Erling Haaland. I heard things about a release clause that wasn't offered to him that he wanted, and we weren't willing to do that, which you can understand to a certain extent, because a release clause as a club like Manchester United, it really isn't ideal, because when you sign a young player, you want him for the long term. You want to keep him at the club for the long term. You want him to be a face of your club. But at the same time, regardless of that, Ed Woodward would make ridiculous decisions like this all the time, So we missed out on one of the best players in the world. It was a short thing. He was Ole's boy, and Ole wanted him back, and he was going to sign for Manchester United. So, I was reading the Manchester Evening News. They were saying that, the City signing him is just more pains from that era, sneaking through. Which is right. It sucks. It does suck. And the fact that City got him for a release clause of 50-something million or something like that, if higher, not that much, it makes it suck even more. But at the same time, I feel like we need to accept that, and accept that we need to start moving forward in a specific direction, At the end of the day, we're not in the same place as Manchester City right now. We can't be signing players like Erling Haaland, because, yes, we can, because, you can never go wrong with Erling Haaland. But I think right now, City have built their foundations, City are in a good place. They just need to put those talismans on top to kind of win the Champions League. We are not there. We need to break everything down and just start fresh, and just be smarter with our recruitment, I mean, look at Liverpool, Liverpool, I hate envying Liverpool because it's Liverpool, but, they talk about the numbers they've spent and they compare them to us, and it's just appalling, honestly, from our behalf, So we just need to be more strategic, more systematic in how we sign players, not just go for the big money signings, just be smart about how we do things on the football side, And I think dwelling over the things like Haaland, dwelling over where Liverpool and Man City are right now, maybe even Arsenal, I don't know. I don't think they're far ahead of us. But dwelling over those type of things won't help us right now. We just need to focus on ourselves and just start doing things right from our perspective, So, yeah, I just wanted to add that and say, as much as it sucks, I think at the moment, what needs to happen is a focus on ourselves and just restructuring what's happening in Manchester United. And yes, it sucks that the player ultimately has chosen Manchester City over us. It sucks. But the way we fix that is by restructuring and fixing the basics. It's going to come down to that. But yeah, that's been, news. That's been news from me, your boy Reta. And yeah, I'll check you next time.